Orange is the New Black Season 3, Episode 2. And, well, the big news in this one is after everything I said last time about Piper lying to Alex about being the reason she's back in jail, and that's going to be the big tension between them, it's all out in the open right here. And that is quite refreshing. Obviously, this is a show that has whole seasons released once, so you couldn't really blame them that much if they decided to drag this out a little more, but instead we get it out of the way right here and can move on to something else, whatever that may be. Although at the end of the episode, they're already having what appears to just be hate sex, so maybe they're just finding their way back to each other naturally from there. But we still have a lot of the show to go, so I'm guessing that's not really the end game. Also, the flashbacks here are for the first time, I believe, from the perspective of one of the guards, as we see some of Bennett's time in the Middle East in the army. Unfortunately, at least right now, I don't really see the point of this because the scenes we get don't have any real kind of arc to them, and they don't add at all to what we already knew about him. So I'm just having a hard time seeing what exactly we're supposed to take away from this. Although maybe it will add up to something later when we see more of them. And I do wish they do help his storyline with Daya and her pregnancy go somewhere because boy, is it getting old. Like that's kind of the consequence of setting up a show like this where you have multiple seasons around like basically a year and a half. And so she's going to be pregnant for multiple seasons. That's just an unavoidable consequence of it. And it really seems like somewhere around season 2, they ran out of things to do. So hopefully this will give them some new ideas, whatever those may be. Also nice to see in the episode is last season Piper lied to Red about her store being open, and now Red has found out, and we get a whole big speech about how like Piper, despite being our ostensible viewpoint character, really is not that likable right now. And like she's slowly slipped down into like this morass of morality, and you have to really accept that if you're going to have any kind of morality yourself. And if you don't, you're basically the same kind of people who ironically cheered for Walter White through the whole show. And it's good to see that is definitely not what they're up to here. We are not supposed to just automatically like her just because she's the main protagonist, especially since her role in the show has gotten steadily smaller since season 1. And that is definitely the right way to go because, like I'm sure I said a few times before now, at least, she is very far from the most interesting character here. So we'll just have to see who can take her place because there are several candidates who are better for it. But that's this episode. Show is kind of in a rut at the beginning of the season, but by the end of this one, it's starting to take off again, and I'll just have to see where it goes from here.